One of these popular pastors said someone who is not paying tithe is under curse. Is it true, biblically?
I think we should be very simple as far as matters of doctrine is concerned. Whatever the Bible tells us to do, let's do. What is tithe? Tithe is minimum of 1/10 of your income. It's like tax to government employee. Do they seek your opinion before they impose tax on you? No. When you are employed, won't they take their tax at source? Yes. What's the purpose? To run the government and provide services. If you don't pay your tax, what happens to you? You in America, you could go to jail. It's a simple logic. A church is an organization that has to be maintained. People have to be paid salary. They have to pay their due to government. They have to build structures. They have to do a lot of things. God now says, 1/10 of all what you come to you as income, give it to my house. If you don't give it to my house, truly, you have robbed me, because it's my entitlement. In reality, those people who are rich who died recently as a result of COVID-19 or whatever, of what use is their wealth? Gone.
Yeah.
Of what use is the aeroplane? All their resources. Our life comes from God. The doctors have no control of our life. God gave us, it takes. So you have nothing. So if God has given you the power to make wealth, and he gives you the power to breathe, power to wake up and sleep, and you are saying that this same God, you cannot give him 1/10 of what he has given to you, then you must be a thief. God is laying claim to read that this is my portion. You have robbed me, all of you, by not giving me this time. If you don't give it to me, he said, I will not rebuke the devourer for your sake. The caterpillars and the palmer worms, I will not rebuke them. He said, there's nobody, it's not a question of man causing, it's God himself who has put a curse. So it is, as long as you're a member of a church, you have to pay your tithe. You can't be a member. If you're a member of an association, they say pay your due, you're arguing with them. It is the tax you pay as your contribution as a member of that body towards the running of the system. Because the system has to run. Otherwise, there will be nowhere for you to stay. Yeah. Look at this beautiful secretariat. It costs a lot of money. To maintain it is very expensive. So you must pay your tithe. We argue too much over matters we don't know anything about. I think tithe is compulsory for all Christians. If they choose not to pay it, it's left to them and God, not to the church. The church should not pronounce any curse on anybody, but God himself is going to do it. And that principle is not just that. If you look at Haggai, for example, you can see that God says, look, consider your ways. Consider your ways, O house of Israel. You labor, you have nothing to show. You bring in money, there's a hole that takes it out. You bring a little in your hands, I blow it away. He said, why? He said, because you are minding your own business and your own houses, and you are abandoning my own house. Should your house be better than my own house? He said, that's the reason why I have covered the heavens. It has become like bronze for you. You struggle, nothing comes out of it. He said, you go to the mountain and go and build, get wood and build my house. And then I will open the windows and bless the work of your hand. So it's a choice between man and, between men. If you choose to disobey, it's like Deuteronomy 28. If you obey, the blessings will come. If you disobey, the curses will come. God has put blessings and curses there. It's the man's choice that will determine which one he takes. So as far as the tithe is concerned, ask yourself a question. Is it normal practice? Yes, even governments do it. Is it something that's our own indiscretion? No, it is mandatory. Is it reasonable? Yes. Is it economically viable? Yes. Who ordained it? Is it man's invention or God's directive? If God directs you to do anything, you better do it. You better do it. Let's avoid all these arguments. They know little about theology, but they are doing it as an escapist attempt for them not to be committed to the church, because the church is under assault. So if you economically disadvantage the church by having access to the tithe, you kill the church. Satan is attacking. They now want to come inside to stop the church from its economic sustenance. It doesn't make any sense. We should pay our tithe. We should not argue. Do you argue with government when they take their tax? They don't. You don't argue. You have to do it. If you don't do it, you go to jail. So why can't you go to God's jail if you pay your tithe? We should be committed. Anglicans are Bible-based. When God says, do this, we do it. In fact, our old mothers, they never argue. Our fathers never argue. Whatever they got in the marketplace, they will go and set aside their tithe in the villages. And when they want to give their money to God, they will not look for the currencies that are rumpled, that are dirty. Because even in the Old Testament, God didn't receive animals that were blemished. They will look for the new nose and give to God. They say, let us take the one that can spoil the others. If God has given you 100 things, he said, take 90 and give me 10. And you are still arguing? We must be ungrateful indeed. You have forgotten that we are finite. God can take off any man at any time. Heads of state have died in that as well. What could anybody do? Coronavirus has shut down the whole world. What could anybody do? So if that same God is even taking money from you, aren't you lucky? I think we should give. For those who really know the value, benefit of tithe, they should even give more than 10%. And we know that there are benefits. The more you give, the more God will preserve the 90% and give you even more.
The other part of the question is people saying, okay, it may not be compulsory I take my tithe to church. What if I give my pastor? What if I give the less privileged? Is that also?
The tithe, he didn't say take the tithe to your pastor. He said take the tithe to the church so that there will be food in my house. The emphasis is the house of God. House of God. House of God. Institution, the establishment, not to any particular pastor. No. If you do it, it's good, but regard it as an offering. As soon as you give it to that pastor, it's no longer a tithe. It's a special prophetic offering. And he will bless you, you will get it there. But the blessing of the tithe is not yours. The tithe is supposed to be, do I have the freedom to pay my tithe and my tax to a friend or a pastor? No, you pay it to government. That's what the law says. It's a tax. It's obligatory of me for running the system. You have no alternative by giving it to other people, because an Anglican should not say because they have one problem or the other, they go pay to other places. Where you are fed the word of God, where they pray for you and they give you pastoral oversight, that's where you are supposed to control. I can't go and pay my tithe to Ghana. It's Nigeria, where I belong. That is the principle, sir. There's no strange principle here other than the one we run in the secular arena.